Right, let's take a look at this story now. So the South African Weather Service has issued 12 warnings nationwide as the country battles a series of intense cold fronts. Western Cape local government MEC Anton Bredell says authorities in the province have the situation under control, with schools set to reopen tomorrow. Should the parents and children be concerned about returning to school under these weather conditions in the Western Cape? To answer that question, let's bring in Bronagh Hammond now. Of course, she is with the Department of Education's Communication Director. Bronagh, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, describe the weather that you're seeing in the Western Cape this morning before we even get into plans for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's extremely windy out there, and wet and rainy, heavy rains, throughout the evening. So yeah, we'll have to do a bit of a sit rep this morning and find out, if there's any further damage to schools.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as the day progresses today, you'll see parents really wanting to get some clear direction as to whether or not they send their kids to school tomorrow. At the moment, government saying yes, the schools are reopening, no changes.
Yes, at the moment it is. All systems go for tomorrow for the third term, but obviously we'll have to do do some work today to see what damage has been done over the last 2 days and this evening. We had some roof tiles being blown off some schools. We need to see what damage it is and whether that would actually affect teaching and learning, obviously taking into account the safety of teachers and learners returning to those schools. And we've got a JOC meeting. We'll get advice from the disaster management and the South African Weather Services at 10 o'clock this morning to see what the weather patterns are going forward into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. But
we've already seen flooding in parts like Khayelitsha, for instance. So what preparation is being done for schools in that area?
Well, the big thing with Khayelitsha is actually the wind. It's quite a bit of a wind tunnel there that comes in from the sea. So we'll have to look at the roof sheetings in that area. That's what actually causes a lot of the flooding, the roof sheeting and tiles coming off and then causing damage within the school classrooms or the administration blocks. But we're seeing a bit of damage on the West Coast areas that is coming through in terms of schools in those areas. So today it will definitely be about schools reporting any damages, what is in emergencies, and then we'll have to make decisions going forward based on that JOC meeting at 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay, and then some of the areas that you think, I mean, you certainly have seen previous storms that are similar to this. Some of the most vulnerable areas, which are those for those that are watching, and the preparation that's necessary for those?
Obviously, every storm is different, but, in the past we've seen damage to areas like the Overberg area. We've seen in the Drakensberg area, as well as on the Helderberg Basin area, your Strand, Lewandale area. But as I said, the West Coast has already reported some damages at schools, so we'll just have to see. I think it's quite widespread at this stage, but we'll have to see, as the system moves forward, whether we'll go into the Eden Karoo district. But as I said, it would depend on what the advice we get from the experts in this regard, and then we'll make any decisions, whether it's district-based or, community-based, or even individual school-based, taking into account that safety of the learners and the teachers.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were covering a story just a little bit earlier about some residents in the Cape that have been evicted by government authorities. This is after they were moved to temporary housing as a result of a storm just over a month ago. And now, of course, I think of what the situation and work being done for the homeless looks like in these, terrible stormy conditions. We're hearing, for instance, that over the next 2 days we may very well see snow as well.
Yeah, I think, from a human aspect, you've got children that have been displaced, as you mentioned in Khayelitsha over this last few days, getting ready for school. They've been on school holidays. Some of them rely on the school feeding scheme in terms of the meals and are looking forward to that nice warm meal coming back to school tomorrow. So it really is something that we need to look at in terms of how we can support those learners. They're getting their damp clothing ready for school. It is devastating. And then I hope that communities all rally together to support them. But obviously we will be there to welcome our learners, give them that warm meal and provide them the love and care that they need and deserve.
Okay, and then of course you did talk about, needing to consult with the experts as you assess whether or not all schools will be opening tomorrow. Where do we go for a centralized point of that communication for parents that are watching now?
Yeah, so once we've had that meeting, if there is any major decisions, it will be communicated via our head of department to schools where the schools will close. He's the person in charge in terms of making that decision and communicating it. But then obviously if it's district-based or individual-based, it makes it easier. But if it's more widespread, then we will, of course, alert the media as well as the schools concerned, and that then gets spread out into the community at large.
Bronagh,